First couple of times were teachers. And I'll never forget my sophomore year. This is like the 10th grade in high school. And I had an elective class, and I was working in the library, helping the kids check out their books. And the librarian said, Eric, do you enjoy reading? And I said, well, I really don't read. I just read my schoolwork. And she said, why don't you read this? And she put a book in my hand, and I had never heard of it. It was called Ender's Game. And I said, okay,
Okay.
I'll try reading it. And they eventually made a movie out of it a
Yeah.
few years ago. And I could not put that book down. I was so captivated, and I just fell in love with it. And I went back and I was like, this was amazing. And I told her, this was fantastic. What else do you suggest I read? And she put John Steinbeck's book in my hand called Of Mice and Men. And so I read that book and I loved it. And I read another Steinbeck book. And before I knew it, I was in class, in school, reading the books that she had given to me. And so I would have my textbook like this, but behind the textbook where the teacher couldn't see, I was reading like a novel or something. And I just became like this avid reader. And I think one of the reasons I enjoyed it so much was because I just wasn't a reader. My parents didn't really read. If you walk into their homes right now, you don't see any bookshelves. You don't see any books. And so that was never passed on to me, the joy of reading. And I say that was a big thing that really changed the course of my life, because it basically expanded my mind. And it gave me this belief that I could be something bigger than the expectations that my parents were setting for me.